trying to speak on trans issues was hilarious. All I had to do was write an article in response to shut her up. She should realize she isn't intelligent and too simple. I am being nice to talk about such complex issues. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand these things. She's just an asshole. I watched Aaron try to talk about trans issues before Aaron was mad at me. She already didn't really like me very much, but that doesn't really matter. Before there was, like, conflict because Steve wasn't swatted. Because Steve decided to lie about being swatted on the internet.
Well, color me shocked. Cheshire is showing us her inner narcissist here. Okay, first, I want to address her attempt to rewrite history here. I'm pretty sure that Cheshire has felt kind of a bad way about me ever since the whole mediation phone call, which was long before any swatting of Steve. Why it is she wants to make it sound like we were friends for longer than we were. I mean, I'm just not that into you, boo. I never was. You were correct about that. And I am very, very quite certain that you have no idea what my stance is on these things. You've never even bothered to listen to them. Because you haven't addressed any of them. You're not trying to discuss any of the talking points, the topics that I mentioned, my point of view or anything. Instead, you are just going after me. You're just trying to insult me, and you're making this all about you, like as if I'm not capable of forming my own opinion on these issues, independent from my feelings toward you and your feelings toward Steve. And even though I haven't seen Maanyaaz's video, judging by her comment here, I'm pretty sure that she hasn't addressed any of the things I said either. So I think I'm going to pass on subjecting myself to that bullshit. But there are a few things I want to address here, including Cheshire and Maanyaaz for that matter, illogical fallacies, which they are always committing. I know nothing about philosophy, but even I know you guys are just so full of shit. Okay, now we're going to start this off by talking about Cheshire Maanyaaz's new victim, John Hamill, a man who on Twitter has had the guts to stand up to these wannabe ex-wives of Florida man, I think. So please, enjoy Cheshire's presumption fallacy here.
About, like, this John Hamill fucking thing, where him and his buddy were like, wow, I really wish Chesh would be in a prison, and then a man shows up in the shower. Like, what? And while talking about trans people, as if that's not one, thinking that a man raping me in the shower of a prison would change my mind about trans people at all. All that is this person fucking writing a fictional, hypothetical, imaginary scenario in their head of me being assaulted because I think trans people are people.
Now, for those wondering what it is Cheshire is responding to, this would be the tweet right here that she's responding to. In this tweet here, John Hamill's, as she called him, buddy, Relief Beliefs here says, I can't think of anything better than for these two to be confronted by their own claims applying to themselves. I suspect one shower with a male in a women's prison would be food for thought. And John replies with #luxury beliefs. She says, where him and his buddy were like, quote, wow, I really wish Chesh would be in a prison, and then a man shows up in the shower. I'm sorry, but where does Relief Belief say anything about wishing? Furthermore, where does Relief Belief say anything about Cheshire? See, what Relief Belief said is, I can't think of anything better than for these two. So he's replying to two people. I think for the most part, he's actually replying to Maanyaaz because, as usual, Maanyaaz's the one out there doing all the dirty fighting and shit on Twitter, while Cheshire is sitting back from a safe distance far, far away, and she comes in and sweeps up the victimhood just in time. Funny how the narcissist comes along and kicks Maanyaaz right out of the picture, the image, the equation, all together, and makes herself the leading role. Next, we have her saying, like what? While talking about trans people, as if that's not one, thinking that a man eyeing me in the shower of a prison would change my mind about trans people at all. Again, nowhere in this tweet does it mention anything about changing anyone's opinion about trans people. Nobody cares what Cheshire's opinion is on trans people. No one gives a shit. And no one is thinking of anything about Cheshire in a shower here. What they said was, I can't think of anything better than for these two to be confronted by their own claims applying to themselves. I thought that we were talking about women's sports here for the most part. So I'm not quite sure why it is Cheshire jumped automatically to, oh, what this person must mean is me being sexually assaulted in a prison shower by a dude. And then lastly, we have, all that is this person fucking writing a fictional, hypothetical, imaginary scenario in their head of me being assaulted because I think trans people are people. Who's not thinking that trans people are people here? Nobody cares. Nobody, I think that that's the given. I think that that's the accepted given by anyone and everyone in this discussion, that it's all about people. Trans people are people. Why would you even consider not viewing them as people? This person just said that they can't think of anything better than for you to be confronted by your own claims applying to yourself. I think the only person here writing a fucking fictional, hypothetical, imaginary scenario in their head is you, Cheshire. Nobody else is concocting this scenario, this victimhood that you really seem to desperately want to be able to claim and blame other people for. Why is it that when somebody mentions a man in a woman's prison, you go right straight to the shower? You realize that if you did a little bit of due diligence, just a little bit of looking into shit, that's not even where the majority of assaults happen against female prisoners while in prison. I'm not an asshole for wanting to protect women, but these two advocates here for all these marginalized groups, boy, you're sure ready and willing and able to just like throw these women out to the wolves. Why is that, Cheshire? Could it be because you are a privileged white woman living in white Canada, and you, well, let's be honest, you're not trans, and you probably won't see the inside of a prison in your lifetime. So why is it you even feel entitled to comment on these things? I mean, you can give your opinion and you can listen, you can discuss it. Sure, of course. I mean, we're all human and a part of society. But you're not entitled to come into a discussion, not bother to listen to anything anyone else has to say because you can't agree on the same premise of things, and then tell people how they must feel and that they're fucking wrong or an asshole for not thinking the same way as you. It's not a debate, dude. Let me point something else out here for you.
Again, you want to have a discussion about policies? Fine. If you don't think Trump is a fascist, okay. Let's talk about why that is. And if your answer is because he's not, or he can't be fascist, look at this fascist thing he said, you don't know the content. You don't know the concept. You don't know the lane you're in. You don't know the discussion. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what a fascist is. And so if we have to go all the way back and say, what is a fascist? Then we're not having a discussion anymore. You're just being a fascist. There's no discussion there. The discussion is you're so uneducated that we have to go back so far in the drawing board that you should probably just shut the fuck up. Like, the adults are trying to have a conversation to fix the issues you're bitching about. We can't have that conversation if you're constantly screaming and we can't hear each other. So shut the fuck up.
Okay, now for granted, I'm not talking about fascists here or Donald Trump, but I wanted to point that out, though, how your reaction to that. Rather than try to understand what the opposing party or person considers to be fascist, rather than ask questions and become informed on what they believe it to be, and then share what you believe it to be, and then come to a common ground for which you guys to have your debate upon, rather than put in the work, minimal amount of work really, to do that. You just want to write the person off, call him an idiot, call him stupid, and say, go away, little one, us adults are talking. Because that's a really adult thing to do, right? Is to just fucking insult someone, scurry them along, and then just rule them out. Okay, sure. No, when it comes to the definition of a word like fascist, or when it comes to you interpreting a tweet that someone puts up regarding you and Maanyaaz, you need to understand word comprehension. You need to understand the definitions of words, and you need to understand that sometimes you just don't see words there. You may want to see the words there. You may jump to these presumptions because you think you know what they're talking about, or you're just blanketly covering anyone who disagrees with you as some perverted asshole. But that's not the case. That would be deceiving. That would be deceitful. That would be a lie. That would be an incorrect presumption. So maybe next time you read a tweet or something by, whether it's Relief Belief or whomever, and you don't see the word wish there, and you don't see the word, or the R word there, you don't see the word sexual assault or whatever, maybe realize this and don't imply that those words are there. Don't insist that those words are there. Don't insist that this is what people are saying, because nobody is saying this, Cheshire. No one is, it's not about you. No one is looking to change your mind. No one is looking to beat you in a debate, because this isn't about you. You're not trans. You're not in prison. None of this applies to you. Sure, give your opinion, much like the rest of us. But you don't berate and demean and insult and bully people into adopting your point of view because you think it's right. Meanwhile, you haven't lived a life enough to learn all of these different experiences from all of these different people and these different lives that other people have lived. So you don't understand. You don't understand how there are so many other points of view. There are so many reasons for this. And what's good for you may not be good for others. Oftentimes, that could be the case. Because not everyone has lived a privileged life in white Canada. I know not everyone has lived a privileged life here in white America. You know? So for me to just assume that my life applies to everyone else, well, that makes me the asshole. So therefore, this would make you the asshole. And also, this isn't a 1980s porno. Okay, female prisoners they don't all go to shower together at the same time and like have these like poles up in there with like multiple shower heads or some shit. Like, I don't even know what the fuck you're imagining here. And I should say that the same kind of goes for Relief Belief, I think. That's not the case. Like, many prisons in the United States, in New York State anyways, they have like somewhat private showering areas. Like, there'll be a curtain up or something, you know what I mean? Sometimes you may see something with a couple of heads on it, but usually it's something with a curtain or even a door. And the women can shower whenever they want. Usually it's mandatory to shower like 2 to 3 times a week, depending on where you're at, but they can go whenever they want. They usually go with a friend or like their group of friends, whatever. So in the bathroom, the showers or whatever, there's like a common, almost like a communal place in a prison. So people are walking in and out of there all the time. That's not where the majority of assaults happen. That would just be really dumb. So the majority of assaults happen on work assignments or like on work release programs, you know, off-site, whatever. Usually in-site though, you know, on the assignments. So think about it. You're a prisoner and you're going about, you're doing your responsibilities for the day, whether it's laundry, whether it's kitchen, whether it's mopping floors, whatever. And you have to worry about some guard cornering you or getting you alone in a room where there's no cameras or something. So you have to have your wits about you all day, every day. And now you want to make it so that when they go back to their like dorm, their bunk or whatever, their place where they sleep and they should be able to relax, you want to make it so that the person across like the little alleyway there, that's a potential for harm too. That's how you want to make it. You want to make it so that women prisoners just don't ever get a chance to just fucking relax, huh? And the thing is, I know that not every trans woman is in there to assault. Of course, the majority aren't, no doubt. Trans women don't belong in men's prison either. They don't belong in a men's prison equally as much as they maybe don't belong in a female prison. I don't know the answer, but it's something other than these two, I think, in my opinion. I don't know what it is, though. But I do realize that the majority of trans women are not looking to hurt or assault women. The thing is, though, is we're not talking about like living life on the outside world. This is prison. Everyone's mindset is different in prison. It's a different kind of life. It's a different day-to-day. It's a different view of survival. Okay? So I don't want to apply my assumptions from the only life I've known outside of prison to what it would be like to live inside of a prison. I don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know and insist that it's one thing or it's not. But I will say this much though. Something like that would absolutely be exploited by people on the outside looking to get on the inside to get at someone. it would absolutely happen. People target prisoners from the outside all the fucking time. Usually it's the guards for whatever reason or for some outside reason, whatever. Usually it's the guards, but it's not always. As someone who lives in central New York and lives about 4 miles from Marcy Correctional, I'm telling you, this shit happens all the fucking time. So because of that, I say let's not make it easy on them. What's pissing me off about this though is why is this the argument? The argument shouldn't be whether or not to let trans women in a female prison. The argument should be why the fuck is sexual assault in any prison so widely accepted by society today or any day, whatever. Why is it okay? Why, and I've been guilty of this too, don't get me wrong. Why are we just sitting back here in society, in freedom in society, just making jokes about it or whatever here and there? And like I said, I've done it too. I'm just as guilty. Why the fuck is that the case? Why the fuck are we so okay with that? That's what we should be fucking talking about here, is how the fuck that happened and stopping it from happening. That's the issue. But yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay, now it's time for member shoutouts. I'd like to thank Taboo Topics, Leah, DC, Tammy Sue, Shield, Shannon Collier, Christine Fortunato, Vivian Gallegos, Susie Threaver, channel has been deleted, Jill B, Heather, Mama of Five, Fayette, Sally Godfrey, Cheryl, Mr. Black Wolf, Rhonda Smith, Estella Havisham, Queen Donnie, Tequila Alive in Mexico, Rena Rue, Nana Hawk, Sean Coffey, Sakara's Bear, Sassy Elmo, Flying Mom Laura, Berber, Brilliant, Purple Drake, I'm fucking raking, Osval, Sunny D, Jen Gerard, and Poodlerific. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you everyone for watching.
Don't worry that I have Kleenex or tissues right here and Vaseline right here, all right?